Right now at 5, a crash involving a sheriff's vehicle sends 2 to the hospital.
And we have a few showers on radar. I'll tell you what that means in our forecast.
And 2 men wanted in Louisiana for attempted murder are arrested in Jasper County.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
And I'm Sam Lane, standing in for Chris Warner this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's hump day, right?
It is. It's Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're halfway through the week. We do have some showers on radar up to the north, which is what we were expecting. And they're primarily going to stay that way. They're up towards the north. But we do have some rain coming back into our forecast, and quite a bit of it for some folks. Let's take a look, zoom in on some of the shower activity. Near Garnett right now, along Highway 169, extending on over towards Lincoln and Mound City, and then eventually on over into Butler County. And as I mentioned, most of that is going to stay to the north today. We're going to stay mostly cloudy with isolated sprinkles, but we're going to warm up to 73 degrees by this afternoon, 68 at lunchtime, 71 at 2, 72 at 4 o'clock. And if you're suffering from allergies, like I know a lot of folks are, it's going to be pretty bad today, 11 out of 12. And then tomorrow, a little bit better with the rainfall starting to move in Thursday evening, but still pretty bad, 10 out of 12 for your allergy index. In fact, here's a look at the rain chances. Low today, but then as we go through the day tomorrow, they're going to dramatically increase across the area. Looking down the lane, we have mostly cloudy and warm conditions today. Thursday rain, Friday rain, and then finally we get a break on Saturday, and I'll tell you all about it when we come back with weather in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Sam. An early Tuesday morning crash in Cedar County, Missouri takes the life of a Quincy man. Authorities say a 1986 Ford F-150 traveling on US 54 3 miles east of Cedar Springs drove off the right side of the roadway, struck a fence and tree, and then overturned. The driver, Clay Wheeler from Quincy, was ejected from the vehicle. He was pronounced deceased at the scene. Next of kin have been notified. A Monday afternoon crash involving a Newton County Sheriff's vehicle sends 2 people to the hospital. Reports of a crash at US 60 and Missouri 59 came in around 2 p.m. Monday. Neosho Fire Department, Newton County Ambulance, Newton County Sheriff's deputies, and Neosho Police responded to the crash scene. According to authorities, a Newton County Sheriff's deputy was responding to a call and collided in the intersection with a pickup truck. The drivers of both vehicles were both transported to the hospital, and the crash is under investigation. 2 men wanted for attempted murder in Louisiana are caught in Jasper County, Missouri. Authorities arrested 26-year-old Dalton Andrews and 18-year-old Miguel Guajardo Jr., and they were arrested on warrants for attempted first-degree murder and criminal conspiracy. U.S. Marshal's office in Louisiana contacted the Jasper County Sheriff's Office about the suspects, saying they might be in the area of 898 North Sunny Slope Lane, and that's east of the Joplin city limits. Missouri Senate has approved initial legislation that would temporarily prohibit gender-affirming treatments for minors and restrict transgender participation in sports. Republican-led Senate advanced the bills on Tuesday after an all-night session. Doctors could lose their licenses and schools would lose state funding if they do not comply. Republicans are pushing nationwide to restrict transgender health care, drag shows, bathroom access, and the discussion of LGBTQ topics in schools. On Tuesday, the Oklahoma Supreme Court ruled there is a limited right to abortion in the state. This comes after reproductive rights activists challenged the Oklahoma abortion ban that was signed into law last year. By 6-4 vote, the court held abortion must be allowed in order to preserve the life of the mother. However, the court did allow a state ban on elective abortions to remain in place. The majority opinion ruled the Oklahoma Constitution guarantees a woman's right to protect her life, while the dissenting justice says there's no real or implied right to an abortion in the U.S. or the state constitution. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Girard looks to keep up its success from last season against Labette County. We'll have more in sports. Plus, Keanu Reeves returns to the big screen in John Wick 4. And progestin-only contraceptives such as an intrauterine device carry a low increased risk for breast cancer. We'll have more. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. The Girard Trojans are coming off one of the best baseball seasons in the program history. Last season, Girard finished as co-C&C champions, and they won a regional championship and went on to finish 4th in the 3A state tournament. Yesterday afternoon, Girard opens a new season, kicking off their schedule at home against Labette County. After a leadoff walk in the first, Trevor Armashek settles in on the mound and gets the strikeout looking there. Later in the inning, Armashek drops a big curveball in for another strikeout, and he keeps the Grizzlies off the board in that inning. Girard goes straight to work with the bats. Jaden Norris with a man on second. Big swing to center, goes off the base, off the wall out there. Caleb Scales come in to score from second. Norris RBI. Triple for the Trojans, gets them on the board. A couple of batters later, Ethan Bennett reaches out and pokes this one out in the left center, and that brings Norris home, and Girard takes the lead 2-0. Eon Harlow finishes the inning strong for Labette County, gets the swing and the miss, but Girard rolls from there. Trojans win their season opener 14-3. And in Joplin, we have a little interstate matchup between the hometown Eagles and Colgan Panthers. Colgan had a 6-3 lead going into the final innings, but Joplin scores 5 in the bottom of the 7th to win it 8-6. Eli Salter finishes the game with a walk-off 3-run homer, so that was pretty good. The St. Louis Cardinals are just 9 days away from their season opener against the Toronto Blue Jays. So far in spring training, they've played 20 games, going 14-6 overall. Now, last night, they aimed for their 5th straight win facing the Washington Nationals. Josiah Gray dialed in for Washington, gets Andrew Kisner swinging in the 4th, and then in the 5th, another swinging strikeout. And then finally, batter Tommy Eadman goes down. Josiah Gray, 6 scoreless innings with 5 strikeouts. And in the 6th, Cardinals go down 2-0. Victor Robles adds to the Washington leads with the 2-run jack. And the Cards come through. The Cards, though, come back, and this game actually ends in a 4-4 tie. All right, Pitt Stake Ben DeRozier has been named the MIAA Pitcher of the Week. DeRozier's had a great outing on Sunday in the Gorillas series finale against Northeastern State, and in that game he threw 6 shutout innings, allowing just 3 hits and striking out a season-high 9 batters. DeRozier is now 4-0 on the mound this season, and in his last 3 starts, he's allowed just 1 earned run in 17 innings while racking up a total of 21 strikeouts. Still to come, Croatian authorities set off a Second World War II mine. Plus, we have a check of the 7-day forecast when the KM Morning News returns. And welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We're taking a look right now at Seneca, Missouri, the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. You can see the pavement a little bit wet down there, not from rainfall, but from the fact that we have so much moisture in the air this morning, and that's going to continue through the afternoon. Radar is clear in the immediate metro area, but up to the north, we do have some showers extending from just north and east of Garnett on over towards Mountain City and Lincoln, and then over into the Missouri side, over there into Butler County, around Deer Creek and Butler and Rich Hill, and those showers are going to mainly stay to the north. Our attention is going to be turning back towards the west. We have some clouds across Texas that will continue through the afternoon, but notice this big powerful storm system centered right over San Francisco. That system is going to be pulling out into our area as we go into Thursday evening into Friday, and we're going to be expecting quite a bit of rainfall from that system, and I'll show you that in a moment. But right now, temperatures are very mild, especially for this time of year. Look at this, in the 60s right now, 63 in Miami, 58 in Neosho, 59 in Bella Vista, a little bit cooler up towards the north. Dew points are also very high, so it's very muggy out there this morning, typical of spring, with dew points in the 50s and 60s. Right now in Joplin, We're sitting at 61 degrees, and it feels like, of course, 61 with a dew point of 57. Notice the wind south of 18 gusting to 33, and those winds are going to be gusting quite a bit today. In Pittsburgh, it's 59 degrees, south wind at 13, and of course 100% humidity because the dew point and the temperature are exactly the same. Severe weather risk on Thursday is going to be down to the south in Oklahoma and Texas. It's going to be very close to us, but the main threat here is going to be the very heavy rainfall. There's a high risk of that in parts of our area, and precipitation chances shows the dramatically increase in the rain chances as we go through tomorrow evening. This afternoon, though, temperatures are going to be in the 70s with mostly cloudy skies. And then as we go through the nighttime hours, we'll see this front dropping down from the north. And as it does so, we'll start to see more showers and rain on Thursday evening. And then it really gets going as we go into Thursday night into Friday morning. And then by Friday evening, this system will move to the south and east, and we'll start to see cooler temperatures behind that system, generally in the 30s by Saturday morning. Rainfall amounts, like I said, are going to be very high, especially right along I-44. Some of these amounts could be exaggerated a little bit, but we're going to get quite a bit of precipitation. Over the next 7 days, you can see we have an alert day for Thursday and Friday with that heavy rainfall, and then a break on Saturday with more showers on Sunday, and then drier on Monday and Tuesday. Keanu Reeves is back on the big screen this weekend in his fourth film in the John Wick franchise. Rick Damadella reports.
Saying goodbyes.
Saying hello.
An assassin's quest for freedom and peace continues in John Wick Chapter 4.
You're going to die. Maybe not.
We have a visionary director in Chad Stahelski and very inventive. And I think the cast in this film is spectacular. We have so many new characters. We're opening up the world. I think the action is inventive.
If everybody gets a little better, I think that's why the movies show it, because I think I have a group of people that actually want to keep getting better and exploring their careers. And if you get the right people together, at least that's my theory, the movies get a little better.
But the good death only comes after a good life.
Chad called me. I created a role for you. The role of long old friend of John Wick. Oh my goodness. That's perfect for me.
The sense of responsibility that comes with joining a franchise that's so beloved, coming to the fourth installment, you know, I had to make sure I was on my A game.
How goes the ground farewell tour?
Coming to an end.
The film once again reunites Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne.
When you consider 9 months it took to shoot this movie, that's a long time, dude. And his judo's gotten really, like, it's next level judo in this one.
The only way John Wick will ever have freedom and peace is in death.
Yeah, not really.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
And of course, that brings us to our morning question. What movie are you looking forward to in 2023? Is it Dungeons and Dragons, the Super Mario Brothers movie, Evil Dead Rise, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Little Mermaid, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Flash, or other? We want to hear from you. Be sure to go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, use the KOAM app, or visit us on our Facebook page. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a medication used to treat late-stage prostate cancer is in short supply. Pluvicto is a drug that could help advanced prostate cancer patients live longer. The drug maker, Novartis, says last May its manufacturing facility in Italy had to halt production because of possible quality issues. Production was also suspended at a New Jersey plant that makes the drug for Canada. Both plants resumed production in June, but have not been able to keep up with the demand. The drug maker hopes the New Jersey plant could get authorized to start producing the drug for the U.S. as well. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in American men. It's the second leading cause of cancer death for American men, behind only lung cancer. Maybe time to roll up your sleeves again. The Food and Drug Administration is considering whether to recommend another bivalent booster shot to prevent COVID-19. Sources say the agency might okay another booster for people at higher risk. That includes people over the age of 65 and people who have weakened immune systems. The United Kingdom and Canada already have approved a second round of bivalent boosters. Those shots target the original strain of the virus and 2 of the Omicron subvariants. Currently, the FDA's emergency use authorization for the bivalent vaccines prohibits a second dose. But that could change if the agency gives full approval for the shots. It's unclear when the FDA will make its decision. Progestin-only contraceptives like the mini pill and intrauterine devices carry a similar low increased risk for breast cancer as other hormonal contraceptives. That's according to a new study published Tuesday in the journal PLOS Medicine. Researchers analyzed data on almost 10,000 women under the age of 50 who were diagnosed with invasive breast cancer. They found that progestin-only contraceptives, which do not have estrogen, are associated with a 20 to 30% relative risk for breast cancer. And that aligns with previous research on combined hormone contraceptives. The study investigated potential links to the disease and does not indicate that hormonal contraceptives cause breast cancer. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
All right, we do have a few showers out there this morning up to the north in around the Lincoln area. This is going to be moving over into Butler County over the next few minutes, and you can see that near Deer Creek right now along Highway 49. All of that's going to mainly stay towards the north, but we have some rain chances coming up in our forecast, and of course I'll have all the details on that when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, as storm season approaches, it's best to be prepared. We take you to NEO A&M to see how they prepare for the upcoming storm season.
All right, we do have a few showers, no storms right now, but we have some showers up towards the north, and of course I'll tell you all about that in our forecast.
And it's Ladies' Night at Pittsburgh's Memorial Auditorium as the Safe House Crisis Center hosts its Bags to Riches event.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:26. I'm Tanya Bach.
And I'm Sam Lane, standing in for Chris Warner this morning, who's taking spring break off, I guess.
Yeah, good for him.
Yesterday we had quite a bit of rain. Today we have the clouds. We have a few showers up towards the north, but really not a big deal right now. Let's take a look at that, and we're going to zoom in on some of the shower activity up towards near Lincoln and Mountain City, all moving over towards the north and east over into Butler County. And that's going to continue through most of the day. Mostly cloudy skies today, but at least it's going to be warm. 73 degrees with the high, 68 at lunchtime, 71 at 2 o'clock with the cloudy skies still remaining. Maybe a few breaks of sun as we head towards 4 p.m., but generally mostly cloudy with temperature of around 72 degrees. And if you're suffering from allergies, and I know a lot of folks are, unfortunately today is going to be pretty bad. 11 out of 12 on the scale, so we're going to call that bad. And then tomorrow, just a slight improvement, a 10 out of 12. We won't really get any improvement until Friday after we see the rain move in and wash all of that pollen out of the atmosphere. Today, mostly cloudy and warm. Then the rain starts Thursday evening, and that continues into Friday morning. And some of the rain could be very heavy, and we'll take a look at that in more detail a little bit later. And then finally, Saturday, we get a little bit of a break before more rain comes back in on Sunday. And of course, I'll tell you all about that in our forecast in just a little while.
All right, thanks, Sam. Well, schools are preparing for severe weather season, taking steps to make sure their students, faculty, and staff are safe. KOAM's Shagun Bombadeli found out how higher education institutes in our area are doing that.
Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College officials are prepared for severe weather. The school has a comprehensive emergency management plan that includes regular communication with students and staffs.
I get an email from emergency management that gives us a breakdown of the weather for the week from the National Weather Service. So every morning we have a basic idea of what the weather is going to be that day, as well as for the remainder of the week. And every morning it is updated.
Lambert says the school has designated weather officers.
In the event of any weather watches that come about, our officers will begin to monitor the weather more closely on an hourly basis and watch for any updates in the warnings.
Technology is an important notification tool.
We are in the process of launching a mobile application system, a mobile app that will be available to all students and systems that will make it a little bit quicker to receive emergency notifications for weather alerts, active shooters, and so forth.
Pittsburgh State University Police Department works with local agencies in the event of severe weather.
If our campus were to be involved, we would obviously start coordinating with, again, our off-campus partners, our Crawford County Emergency Manager's office, and we would start calling in resources to come assist and start that ball rolling.
Chief Height also stresses that students have a way to receive weather notifications.
We really try to direct people in our information in our proactive information to download your local weather app, make sure your location settings are on, and make sure you have that local your local TV station weather app, whichever favorite one you have.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Shegun Bamdele, KOAM News.
Both schools are encouraging students and staff to take personal responsibility for their own safety by staying informed about weather conditions. Well, as Joplin reflects on 150 years, there's no denying the impact of Gabby Street. Gabby Street managed the Joplin Miners and captivated ears as a sports broadcaster. Some Joplin natives believe Street's legacy is forgotten by referring to Gabby Street Boulevard as West 26th Street.
And hoping that the City Council might restore the name Gabby Street Boulevard to 26th Street. I think Gabby Street Boulevard sounds so much more fun than 26th Street, which is boring to me.
That's right. Well, Joplin's 150th birthday celebration is on Thursday at City Hall, and we'll have more on this legendary street in our 6 o'clock hour. Well, a Pittsburgh organization is raising money with a purse auction. Safe House Crisis Center hosted its annual Bags to Riches Ladies Night Out fundraiser. Safe House provides resources for victims of domestic violence. This event is a chance for people to come out, mingle, and bid on purses in both a silent and live auction, all for a good cause.
Funds are really going to help us provide victim assistance and also just kind of filling in the gaps where we have some shortfalls on grant funds, where we've gotten level funding where we need those funds to increase. This will help cover those shortfalls.
There were also raffle items and door prizes. The Environmental Protection Agency is in Jasper County to give an update on cleanup projects. The EPA has been working to clean up mine waste for the past 30 years. That waste stems from extensive lead mining in the area decades ago, which contaminated the soil and water of many properties. This led to much of Jasper County being part of a Superfund cleanup site. Officials say so far they've cleaned up around 24 million cubic yards of mine waste and supplied 500 homes with new drinking water. But their work is far from over.
So we have several new projects planned over the course of these next couple of years. So we are currently designing cleanup areas for 300 acres, and we plan to clean up about 4 million cubic yards of mine waste over the next couple of years, and that's just mine waste areas. We're also currently sampling residential properties and plan to expand those efforts as well.
EPA is currently conducting a technical needs assessment as they work to determine if they should expand the Superfund site boundary. Kansas Department of Health and Environment announces some local cities are receiving waste tire product grants. City of Chitopo will receive more than $4,400, Fort Scott Aquatic Center more than $2,800, and Girard nearly $2,700. Mound Valley will also receive more than $5,200. The grants will help handle the cost of proper disposal of many materials and assist efforts to promote litter and waste reduction. Missouri Southern and Crowder College team up to make it easier for international students to continue their higher education. The agreement allows those students to continue their education at MSSU at a discounted rate after graduating from Crowder College. Officials say it's all about creating a smooth transition.
Our heart goes out to international students. Sometimes there's a language barrier, but they're here and they're giving it 100%, sometimes more than that, just to be able to get through what many of our students see as just an ordinary day.
Under the agreement, international students will pay Missouri Southern's out-of-state tuition rate rather than the international rate. The Spiva Center for the Arts is helping people get the creative juices flowing during the spring break, and they're hosting an event to craft comics and manga. It'll cover the basics of comic and manga creation, including designing fun characters, developing worlds, and creating narrative conflict. The goal is to help people build toward creating their own original stories, but it's not just about creating stories.
I know that even me, I personally struggle with reading books, but whenever it comes to comics, it's a great stepping stone for getting into reading very expansive stories.
Yesterday, people created 2 individual characters and a setting. It's for anyone ages 12 to 17 and will last until Wednesday. It is $50 to join. Well, this morning we're discussing movies in 2023.
That's right, an assassin's quest for freedom and peace continues in John Wick Chapter 4. The film once again reunites Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne.
However, that's just one of the films coming out this year. There's a lot coming out to be excited about, and if you're a Marvel fan, there's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 coming out in May, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in June, and The Marvels in July. And if you're a Disney fan, The Little Mermaid comes to theaters in May.
Which brings us to our question this morning. What movie are you most looking forward to in 2023? And let's see, well, it looks like a lot of votes for other.
Yes, well, if you wanted John Wick, you would have to say other.
Well, that's true.
We didn't put
That's
it on
true.
the list.
I know my daughter's looking forward to The Little Mermaid. She's probably going to drag me to that.
I'm not looking forward to it, but I will go see Super Mario Brothers because my kids want to.
All right. So that's our results so far. But the people can go on, of course, and vote on KOAM.com news now. So
yeah,
hopefully we'll get more results.
There you go. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, a Missouri Animal Rescue teams up with a high school to have its students read to cats.
Plus, a house renovation turns up a 400-year-old painting. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, if you're looking for a reason to renovate, here's one. You never know what you'll find behind the walls. A couple in northern England was remodeling their apartment kitchen when workers found 2 murals believed to be nearly 400 years old behind the walls. Historic England, a public body that looks after the country's historic environment, says the art is from the 17th century. They depict a biblical scene. Historic England is assisting in having the murals documented and will look after them for the couple. The couple was given a high-quality, life-size replica of the murals, which the couple says they've incorporated in their decor. Their apartment is part of a Georgian building dating back to 1747. Wow. New evidence supports the theory that the coronavirus originated in nature. A new analysis suggests animals susceptible to the virus that causes COVID-19 were at a wet market in Wuhan, China, in the early days of the coronavirus. The findings come from an international team of researchers who reanalyzed genomic data collected at the market in the early 2020. They say some samples positive for traces of the virus also contain traces of DNA from animals known to be susceptible to infection. Researchers point to this as evidence that live animals traded at the market could have passed the virus to humans. Among the animals included in the analysis were raccoon dogs, red foxes, rabbits, cats, and dogs. At least 7 people died and 15 more were wounded in a firework explosion in a small town about 60 miles southwest of Mexico City. That's according to the state governor. Officials say the explosion occurred in a home where fireworks were manufactured and stored without knowledge of authorities. Violence breaks out at a southern France oil depot as a government return to work order is in effect for some essential workers. Dozens of strikers clashed with riot police on Tuesday outside the oil refinery in the city of Fos-sur-Mer. Police used tear gas to push back the protesters who marched toward the facility in defiance of a requisition order. Several French refineries were still blocked from delivering products after 2 weeks of strikes, causing the disruption and production and power supply. The industrial action is part of a nationwide movement against pension system changes, including an increase to the retirement age in France by 2 years to 64. Japanese Prime Minister makes a surprise visit to Ukraine. Fumio Kishida arrived at the Kyiv Central Station shortly after noon on Tuesday. Japanese national broadcaster NHK showed Kishida walking on a station platform with what appeared to be Ukrainian officials. The visit happened at the same time Chinese President Xi Jinping is in Russia for a 3-day visit. Both trips highlighting the international diplomatic repercussions of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And a second World War mine found off the coast of Rijeka, Croatia, was successfully detonated. The German-made anti-ship mine with 1,521 pounds of explosives was found at a depth of 62 feet, partially buried in the muddy bottom of the port of the city last June. Now, police say the mine could not be exploded at that location it was found due to factors including its condition and the proximity of residential buildings and infrastructure. The mine was therefore raised by balloons to a depth of about 22 feet and moved before it was detonated around 8 kilometers from land. In London, more than 130 Ukrainians take to the stage in one of the city's most famous venues, singing at the Royal Opera House. The group performed to a packed audience in a concert dedicated to Ukraine and their loved ones back home. Isa Soares followed their journey from the rehearsals to the big day.
Why my land, they sing. Each word a haunting loss that fills the room with pain and longing. For this group of around 130 Ukrainians, mostly amateur singers, this performance at the Royal Opera House in London is deeply personal. It has taken over 2 months of rehearsals and hours of fine-tuning to get to this point. For members like Olga, who was forced to flee from her hometown of Irpin after Russia's invasion, this is an opportunity to be part of a new community in a new country.
It's huge support for me. It's huge support and feeling that I'm not alone and that I united with people, with different people. We are together.
These songs now offering a connection to home and a reminder of the many lives lost. More than 360 Ukrainians applied to be part of this project for what originally supposed to be just 45 spaces.
I think it's that sort of sense of coming together as only music making can, is bringing out a lot of emotion.
Those selected to perform were from all age groups, but mostly women. Men more likely to stay behind and fight on the front lines. Natalia's husband is one of them. She tells me he's currently fighting in Bakhmut, one of Ukraine's fiercest battlegrounds.
Йде мова от за ту пісню, важко співати, дуже приємно це співати, в душі це є, але з іншої сторони важко, тому що комок в горлі, дуже важкі події описані в той час.
Words of love that leave Natalia shaken
Вибачте.
and longing to be home.
Весь хор наш український, нашому українському народу, нашій Україні, яку ми надзвичайно дуже любимо. І, звичайно, що нашим всім чоловікам, які зараз боронять.
Isa Soares, CNN, London.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Right now, we have pretty cloudy skies across the area, including Seneca, Missouri, with Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. A little bit of wet pavement out there because of the moisture in the air. Right now, radar is clear in the metro area, but up to the north, we've been watching some showers up across our northern counties, moving into southwestern parts or west central parts of Missouri right now in northern Butler County around Deer Creek. That's all moving away from us. Instead, our attention is going to be turning towards the west as the next storm system is now making its presence on shore near San Francisco. That system has a lot of moisture associated with it, including, you see the moisture streaming into southwestern parts of Arizona and New Mexico. These two things are going to combine together, and as they do, we're expecting the rainfall to really start increasing as we head into Thursday evening. But right now, we're looking at temperatures in the 60s, very mild for this time of year and for this time of day. You can see 50s up to the north in Nevada and Stockton, where they're currently 52. And the dew points are very high as well, so you can see that there's lots of moisture for that storm system to work with dew points in the 50s and lower 60s. Right now in Joplin, we have a mostly cloudy skies, 61 degrees, and the dew point is 57. Notice the wind out of the south at 18, gusting at times to 33, and we're going to see those gusty winds throughout the morning and into the early afternoon hours. In Pittsburgh, it's 60 degrees right now, south wind at 14, and the humidity is 100% because the temperature and the dew point are exactly the same. Now, with the threat of storms on Thursday, and this time of year, we're always concerned about the risk of severe weather, and it looks like this next event, the biggest risk of severe weather is going to be from around Tulsa all the way down into the Big Bend area of Texas. Here in our area, maybe a stray severe storm or two, especially for Delaware County. We'll keep an eye on it, but the main threat is going to be the heavy rainfall. There's a high risk of that, and that would be Thursday night into Friday morning. And here's the rain chances, very low today, but then as we go through the day tomorrow, they start dramatically increasing as we head towards tomorrow afternoon and evening. Winds today are going to be gusty out of the south, generally around 30 to 35 miles per hour by around lunchtime. And then as we go through the day, they'll slacken off just a little bit. And then as we go through the overnight hours, they're going to dramatically increase again as we go into the early morning hours with some gusts up to 40 miles per hour. Then the front will drop in from the north and west, and the wind speeds will start to decrease a little bit behind that frontal system. Here's a look at the forecast today. Highs in the mid-70s out towards the west, around 70 here in the metro area. Then we're going to be watching this front dropping down from the north, and tomorrow morning we'll see temperatures in the 60s once again. And then in the afternoon, highs still in the 60s, and then rain chances dramatically increase as we go into the overnight hours into Friday morning with temperatures in the 30s up to the north, 40s in the metro area. Then as we go through Friday afternoon, temperatures will be struggling to get out of the 40s up to the north, around low to mid 50s elsewhere. And then the rain finally moves out of here as we move into Saturday morning with lows in the 30s up to the north and 40s down into Oklahoma. Over the next 7 days, we have quite a bit of chance of rain starting Thursday, and that continues into Friday morning. And because of the potential of flooding, we've issued an alert day for Thursday and Friday. And then on Saturday, drier, 61. And then as we go into Sunday, showers come back into the forecast, a 40% coverage on that Sunday evening, and then drier on Monday and Tuesday before another system starts to move in with more chances of rain on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll have more news and weather when we come back from the break as the KOAM Morning News continues.
A unique program in Kansas City, Missouri creates the perfect match, pairing up high school students with cats looking for their forever home. And as Alan Shope explains, students are doing more than just bonding with these felines. They're developing important life skills.
I try to put on a soft voice.
Well, I don't think frisky feline Tabitha seemed to mind.
And at first her cat was like pretty jumpy, but now she's just laying there.
Wyandotte High sophomore Juan Mota taking part in Wayside Wave's Read to Cats program.
But what can he do? They can't surf in the dark.
A simple idea that matches a cat hoping to get adopted with a student looking to become a stronger reader.
I don't know, says Pete, but we have to find out.
This just shows them that people are kind, people are good.
It has been a long, groovy day, but now he is ready for some shut-eye.
Wayside says it also helps build reading and interest in reading for students.
A lot of times students will be in a class and they'll say a word wrong and they get laughed at. It's a freedom here. They don't get judged by the cats.
Wayside says it's a program they do several times a week. They have school kids come out and read to cats. They have Girl Scout groups come out and read to cats. They've even got adult groups that come out and read to cats.
Especially teenagers, when I'm saying you're gonna read to the cats, they're like, they're not gonna listen. Like, they don't know, but they do. They come to the front, they curl up, they listen.
If they get used to humans a lot more, then they're gonna want to play with people more.
You're reading to like a full audience. You're nervous, but like with the cat, all she says is meow.
Later this morning on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, we've got Jasmine Kyle from the SEK Humane Society stopping by to tell us about a free pet vaccine clinic. We'll be right back. A bald eagle is caught snatching up a slice of pizza in Connecticut. You can see it in the pic there. If you ever wondered what America's bird loves to eat, these action shots might have your answer. A photographer in Connecticut caught some snapshots of a wild bald eagle swooping down and grabbing some lunch with its talons. It wasn't until closer inspection that he discovered the lunch was actually a slice of pizza. The bird beat out 4 crows for the coveted slice. With the Houston Livestock and Rodeo Show happening through this past weekend, even the babies in Texas Children's Hospital's neonatal intensive care unit were dressed for it. Hospital shared these photos of children dressed in rodeo gear, including the baby version of a 10-gallon hat. Livestock and Rodeo Show ran from February 28th through this past Sunday, March the 19th.
That's pretty cool. All right, let's take a look at the radar. We have mostly fair skies, or at least no rainfall in the metro area, but up to the north, we've been watching some showers moving from west to east up there. We even have a few thunderbolts there just south of Harrisonville. This is now in the Deer Creek area, moving away from our region, and we're going to not really see a lot of rain today, but we are going to see a lot of clouds. A high of around 73 degrees. We're also going to see the breezes too, around 68 for lunchtime, 71 at 2 o'clock and 72 at 4 p.m. with the rain moving out of our area. If you're worried about the allergies, it's going to be pretty high today. So we're going to call it bad, 11 out of 12 on the scale. Tomorrow just a little bit better, but still pretty bad, 10 out of 12. We will have to wait until Friday before the rain washes a lot of the pollen out of the atmosphere before we start to see improvement there. Looking down the road, we have mostly cloudy and warm conditions today, and then rain moves in on Thursday, continues into Friday morning, and then finally we get a break on Saturday, and I'll have more details on that in a little bit later.
Right now at 6, Missouri lawmakers take one step closer to further restricting gender-affirming treatments for minors and transgender participation in sports.
And we're also watching some showers on radar up towards the north, but we're really watching the big chance of rain coming into our forecast.
And Jasper County, Missouri gets a visit from the Environmental Protection Agency to provide an update on cleanup projects.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
And I'm Sam Lane, standing in for Chris Warner today.
That's right. And it's 6 o'clock.
Yes, 6 o'clock, 1 hour down, got a couple more to go.
Yep.
We do have some showers on radar this morning, but they're mainly way up towards the north, just south of Kansas City. You can see that in motion there. We have a few showers up there way to the north, not really affecting us down here in the metro area. And we're going to continue to watch this move off towards the north and east. Zooming in, you can see some lightning bolts earlier near Harrisonville, just a small little thunderstorm there. Moving out of Deer Creek, moving over towards Bogard and Clinton over the next half hour. We're not expecting rain today, but we are going to see a lot of clouds, especially this morning into the early afternoon. A high of 73 degrees, 68 at lunchtime, 71 at 2 o'clock and 72 by 4 p.m. Maybe a peak or two of sun as we head towards the evening hours. And the rain chances, like I said today, are going to be on the low side. But as we go through the next 36 hours, that's going to be changing. So we have low rain chances today, but notice as we go into tomorrow, they dramatically increase as we go into tomorrow evening. And we're expecting quite a bit of rainfall across the area, maybe even some flooding rains as well. Mostly cloudy and warm today. Thursday, rain moves in. That continues into Friday. And then finally we get a break on Saturday, and before we start to see more rain on Sunday. And of course, I'll have all the details on your forecast in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Sam. Missouri Senate approves initial legislation that would temporarily prohibit gender-affirming treatments for minors and restrict transgender participation in sports. Republican-led Senate advanced the bills on Tuesday after an all-night session. Doctors could lose their licenses and schools would lose state funding if they do not comply. Republicans are pushing nationwide to restrict transgender health care, drag shows, bathroom access, and the discussion of LGBTQ topics in schools. The Oklahoma Supreme Court rules there is a limited right to abortion in the state. And this comes after reproductive rights activists challenged the Oklahoma abortion ban that was signed into law last year. By 6-4 vote, the court held abortion must be allowed in order to preserve the life of the mother. However, the court did allow a state ban on elective abortions to remain in place. The majority opinion ruled the Oklahoma Constitution guarantees a woman's right to protect her life, while the dissenting justice says there's no real or implied right to an abortion in the U.S. or the state constitution. The Environmental Protection Agency gives an update on cleanup projects in Jasper County. The EPA has been working to clean up mine waste for the past 30 years. That waste stems from extensive lead mining in the area decades ago, which contaminated the soil and water of many properties. This led to much of Jasper County becoming part of a Superfund cleanup site. Officials say so far they've cleaned up around 24 million cubic yards of mine waste and supplied 500 homes with new drinking water. But their work is far from over.
About 794 wells have been sampled, and then a portion of wells have shown up to be above safe drinking water limits. So expanding the site boundary would allow us to take long-term actions to reduce risks and to help protect the community and the environment.
EPA is currently conducting a technical needs assessment as they work to determine if they should expand the Superfund site boundary. The Kansas Department of Health and Environment announces some local cities are receiving waste tire product grants. City of Chetopa will receive more than $4,400. Fort Scott Aquatic Center, more than $2,800. Girard, nearly $2,700. And Mound Valley will also receive more than $5,200. The grants will help handle the cost of proper disposal of many materials and assist efforts to promote litter and waste reduction. Former President Trump did not get arrested as he predicted yesterday, but he's reportedly still preparing for the possibility. So are law enforcement officials in New York and Washington, D.C., with intelligence sources warning of an uptick in violent online rhetoric from domestic extremists. Jared Hill has the latest.
Several sources close to former President Donald Trump say he's huddling at home at Mar-a-Lago, surrounded by his lawyers and senior campaign advisors, as he awaits a possible indictment in Manhattan. Sources tell CBS News the grand jury's work is almost done. It's considering whether to indict the former president in connection to allegations that he falsified records in order to pay for the silence of adult film star Stormy Daniels back in 2016. She says they had an affair. Trump has denied all of it.
Our enemies are desperate to stop us.
Over the past few days, Trump, a candidate for 2024, has used the prospect of arrest as a rallying cry, pushing out a flurry of fundraising emails and calling supporters to protest.
It gives him a chance to really play the victim, which is his favorite thing to do politically.
Several Republicans have rushed to Trump's defense. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul tweeted Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg should be put in jail. Responding to the pressure, a spokesperson for Bragg wrote, "We won't let baseless accusations deter us from fairly applying the law." While the president's calls for protests haven't really materialized, law enforcement isn't taking any chances. There are barricades around the courthouse here in Manhattan, the DA's office, Trump Tower as well. In Washington, fencing around the U.S. Capitol.
Police are better prepared and better informed this time around.
CBS News has obtained an intelligence bulletin that describes a significant increase in threats and violent rhetoric online following Trump's recent social media post predicting a possible arrest. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
There's also movement in the other investigations into the former president. Court documents show Trump's legal team has filed an appeal seeking to block one of his lawyers from testifying before a grand jury in the special counsel's case, examining the possible mishandling of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. This week, the former president's team also filed a motion to quash a special grand jury report in Fulton County, Georgia, where there is a probe into alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Pittsburgh organization raises money with a purse auction. Safe House Crisis Center hosted its annual Bags to Riches Ladies Night Out fundraiser. Safe House provides resources for victims of domestic violence, and this event is a chance for people to come out, mingle, and bid on purses in both a live and silent auction, all for a good cause. And there were a lot of faces in the crowd as well.
It is amazing. I mean, we knew with our ticket sales it was going to be a big turnout, and I mean, we almost sold out the event, and it just feels really good to be back together and know that the community is supporting our work.
And there were also raffle items and door prizes. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, More reasons for a 4-day work week.
Banishing burnout with a shorter work week. I'm Ian Lee with researchers touting the health benefits of cutting back your hours.
Plus, authorities hand down second-degree murder charges to 10 people and the suffocation death of a mentally ill man in a psychiatric hospital. And meteorologist Sam Lane returns with another look at your forecast and how long we can expect to see this rain and springtime temperatures hanging around. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. On Tuesday, the public had a chance to get a preview of what the new Uvalde Elementary School will look like. Officials said the new school will be much larger, more secure, and be built to replace Robb Elementary, where 21 people were killed in May of 2022, including 19 elementary school students and 2 teachers. And once everything is approved, construction should begin this summer in the hopes the new school will open in the fall of 2024. An Idaho woman accused of killing her 2 youngest children will not face the death penalty. Attorneys for Lori Vallow say there is not enough time to review the large amount of evidence turned over in recent weeks, and the judge in the case agreed. Vallow and her husband, Chad Daybell, are accused of killing her 7-year-old son and her 17-year-old daughter. The couple are also accused of killing Daybell's first wife. Vallow is also charged with conspiracy to commit murder in Arizona in connection with the death of her previous husband, Charles Vallow. The death penalty still applies to Daybell's case. 2 Virginia inmates are back in custody after they escaped from a Newport News jail on Monday. Authorities say 37-year-old John Garza and 43-year-old Arlie Nemo used tools made from a toothbrush and a metal object to dig a hole in the wall. They were then able to reach untied rebars inside, which they used to help with the rest of their escape, finally scaling another wall to make their getaway. The 2 were found and arrested Tuesday at a nearby IHOP restaurant. Garza was in custody on charges of contempt of court, probation violations, and failure to appear. Nemo was being held on charges of credit card fraud, forgery, possession of burglary tools, grand larceny, contempt of court, and probation violation. Charges related to the escape are still pending. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow was in a Utah court Tuesday as the trial over a ski accident got underway. Terry Sanderson has accused Paltrow of crashing into him and causing him serious injuries while they were both skiing on a Utah mountain in February of 2016. Sanderson also claims Paltrow and her ski instructor skied away after the incident without getting him medical care. Paltrow filed a countersuit against Sanderson, claiming he skied into her. Sanderson initially sued Paltrow for $3.1 million, but later amended his complaint and is now seeking in excess of $300,000 in damages. Paltrow seeking $1 in damages plus attorney's fees. 10 people face second-degree murder charges in the suffocation death of a mentally ill man inside a Virginia psychiatric hospital. All of it caught on video. Nicole D'Antonio reports, and a warning, this video is disturbing.
This silent video shows Henrico County Sheriff's deputies bringing Ivo Otieno into Central State Hospital's admission room on March 6th. Handcuffed and in leg irons, he never made it to a chair. About 5 minutes later, he's laying on the floor and additional deputies step in. 3 minutes after that, more deputies and hospital staff pile on. At one point, at least 10 people are pushing into Otieno, who was pinned down for about 11 minutes.
Can you imagine the agony that Ivo was enduring?
Ben Crump is the family attorney. He also represented the family of George Floyd.
A mental health crisis should not equal a death sentence.
20 minutes after entering the admission room, Otieno appears motionless. Hospital staff begin CPR and call 911.
Is the patient aggressive or is he not?
No, he used to be aggressive, right? So they're trying to put him in restraint. Then eventually he's no longer breathing.
Emergency crews were not able to revive the 28-year-old. Otieno's mother saw the video last week.
I hope that with my team beside me, we will achieve justice for Ivo Otieno.
7 sheriff's deputies and 3 hospital workers have been charged with second-degree murder. Caleb Kirshner represents Deputy Randy Boyer.
My client's involvement in while at Central State was simply tried holding his leg or conducting the TDO paperwork or at times adjusting the leg irons. So at no time did he have any contact with his upper body.
Final autopsy findings have not yet been released, but prosecutors said in court Otieno was smothered to death. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Washington.
Otieno's family says he was experiencing mental distress when he was picked up by police. Before he was brought to the mental hospital, they say he was denied his medications and was subjected to brutality by officers. The video of that has not been made available. Otieno has no prior criminal history. Let's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Sam with a look at your forecast.
All right, we have a few showers on radar, but I want to talk about the 7 to 7 forecast day. Rain chances are going to be very small today. As you can see, around 15% for the maximum. But as we go through time, we're going to see the rain chances dramatically increase as we go into tomorrow evening, especially, and then in the overnight hours, some of the rain could be very heavy, leading to some flooding problems. Mostly cloudy and warm today. Thursday, rain continuing into Friday morning, and then as we head into Saturday, we get a little bit of a break. And of course, I'll have all the details in your forecast when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. We have mostly cloudy skies this morning, including down in Seneca at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. And we're going to see these clouds pretty much all day. On radar, it's all clear in the metro area, but we've been watching some thunderstorms up towards the north near Harrisonville, now moving over towards Clinton, Missouri, out of our area. We are also watching a few sprinkles in western parts of McDonald County around Hart along Highway 76 there. This was also over to the east of Fairland just a few minutes ago, but it's just a few sprinkles, not really a whole lot going on. Instead, we're turning our attention out towards the west as the next storm system is now making progress on shore near San Francisco. It's got a lot of moisture to tap into, and so that's why we're concerned about the possibility of some flooding rains as we go through the forecast, and you'll see that in just a second. But temperatures this morning are very mild, in the 60s, 63 in Miami for one of the warmest readings, also in Welch, 58 in Nevada, 54 the cool spot over there in Stockton. Dew points are very high too, so you can see there's lots of moisture in the atmosphere right now, generally in the upper 50s to lower 60s. Plenty of moisture for those storms to ring out as we go through the forecast. Right now in Joplin, mostly cloudy skies, 61 degrees, south wind at 17, dew point is 58, so we have a high humidity of 90%. And in Pittsburgh, you can see that it's a little bit of fog out there, 61 degrees, and it feels like 61. South wind at 14, gusting to 21, and of course 100% on the humidity because the temperature and the dew point are exactly the same, and that's why we're seeing a little bit of fog developing as well. Severe risk on Thursday is going to be across Oklahoma down into Texas, all the way down to the Gulf, or actually the Big Bend area of Texas. Here in our area, the main threat is going to be the heavy rainfall. There's a high risk of that and low risk on everything else. We'll keep a close eye on that, of course. And over the next 36 hours, our precipitation chances are going to dramatically increase as we go through the day tomorrow. And we're going to break it down for you. Mostly cloudy today with temperatures in the 70s for the most part, mid-70s out towards the west. But notice a front up to the north. That's going to make its way to the south, and we're going to see showers starting to develop ahead of that front. As we move through the day tomorrow, you can see scattered showers developing along that front with temperatures in the 60s. And then as we go through Thursday night into Friday morning, a band of heavy rain sets up basically right along I-44 with temperatures in the 40s by Friday morning. Then by Friday afternoon, it starts to move away from us and temperatures in the 50s, 40s up to the north. And then by Saturday morning, we'll see some clearing and temperatures dropping down into the 30s with northwesterly winds. And then as we look at the precipitation amounts, we're expecting the heaviest amounts right along I-44. Some of these amounts may be a little bit overdoing it a little bit, but I think we have a pretty good chance of it seeing at least an inch of rainfall or more here in the metro area. And rainfall, because it's expected to be heavy, we're expecting it to be heavy, and as a result we have alert days and then drying out as we head into Saturday. And then on Sunday, a 40% chance of showers with a high of 62 degrees and cooler on Monday and Tuesday. We'll be back right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, obese women may share that risk with their daughters. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism did not find the same association with boys born to mothers with obesity or with either gender and their fathers. Strong relationships between parents and teenagers lead to better long-term health in young adults. That's what researchers at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia found after following thousands of teens for more than a decade. In addition to general health, those with stronger parental relationships reported higher levels of optimism and lower levels of stress and substance abuse. And heart experts say supervised exercise therapy could improve quality of life more than medication for many people with a common type of heart failure. The American Heart Association and the American College of Cardiology also says exercising improves the heart's pumping ability and decreases blood vessel stiffness. The concept of a 4-day work week is catching on, with researchers revealing the health benefits of spending fewer hours on the clock. Ian Lee reports.
New research says the rat race we call work doesn't need to be a 5-day marathon. Just ask George Coles, who dropped a day.
It's like liberty, liberation of time.
His employer, mobile game developer Hutch, was one of 61 UK companies that took part in a 4-day workweek experiment for 6 months. We met George when the study began last July.
I struggle at times to, get on top of everything, stay on top of everything.
8 months later.
How would you say your mental health has been affected?
I'm absolutely ecstatic with where I am at the moment mentally.
The report by the University of Cambridge found 71% of employees felt less burnout, a 39% decline in stress, and a 65% reduction in sick days.
It's no surprise that when you give people a 50% increase in their weekends, that they're going to enjoy that.
Hutch CEO Sean Rutland noticed a change in his employees.
I saw a quote from someone saying it helped me with my marriage, it's helped me connect with my kids.
When we first met Sean, he worried fewer hours might hurt the bottom line, but not now.
We did the trial over 6 months, so the 2 quarters in that 6 months we had growth.
For Hutch, 4 days is here to stay.
If I was to ever start a business again, I think I would start with a 4-day work week.
And there's no going back to a 5-day work week?
Not a chance. Not a chance. We shouldn't be living to work. We should be working to live.
And many agree that extra day off leads to a more fulfilling and profitable life. Ian Lee, CBS News.
56 of the 61 British companies that participated in the study are hooked on the 4-day concept and say they will not be returning to a 5-day work week. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we have a few showers on radar up towards the north. They're staying away from us, but we have a better chance of rain as we go into Thursday, especially Thursday night into Friday. Let's zoom in on that activity up to the north. You can see some scattered showers near Bogard and over towards Clinton, moving away from us. We had a few sprinkles also down to the south. Your day planner looks like this: 73 degrees today with mostly cloudy skies, 68 at lunch, and 71 at 2 o'clock and 72 at 4. I'll have all the forecast when we come back.
Right now at 6:30, Joplin's milestone celebration continues this week with a look at one of the city's own legends who changed the game of baseball.
And we have a few sprinkles out there in the local area and also a few scattered showers up towards the north. I'll tell you all about the wet forecast when we come back.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's the Spiva Center hosting an event for all aspiring comic book artists.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:31. I'm Tanya Bach.
And I'm Sam Lane, standing in for the Chris Warner, who's taking a few days off, enjoying spring break.
Yeah.
Wish I had sunny weather to give him, but unfortunately we have more rain in the forecast. In fact, we're seeing on radar right now a few showers up towards the north. A few thunderstorms too up near Harrisonville, but that is moving away from us. Zooming in on that activity, you can see it near north and east of Bogard over towards Clinton and that's moving over towards Windsor. You can see a few lightning bolts there. Also, we were watching a few scattered sprinkles down in Delaware County, now moving into western McDonald County. This afternoon, though, we're expecting cloudy skies, 73 degrees for our high, so at least we're on the warm side as far as temperatures go. 68 at lunch, 71 at 2, 72 at 4, maybe a peak or two of sun as we head towards the evening hours, but we're going to be watching the rain chances dramatically increasing as we go till tomorrow. Today, if you're suffering from allergies, here's why. It's 11 on a scale of 12, so it's pretty bad today. And tomorrow we're going to get a little bit of improvement due to the stronger winds mixing things up a little bit, but we have to wait till Friday before we start to see improvement on the allergy index. Mostly cloudy and warm today. Thursday rain, and then Friday rain as well in the morning. And then finally we get a break on Saturday, but we have more rain behind that. So it looks like a wet forecast, and I'll have all the details on that coming up in just a little while.
All right, thanks, Sam. The Joplin History and Mineral Museum hosts a presentation to honor an iconic Joplin resident as the city celebrates 150 years. KOAM's Amber Jenkins attended Tuesday's event and has more.
Gabby Street moved to Joplin in 1922 and shook up the game of baseball. As Joplin reflects on 150 years, there's no denying the impact of Gabby Street.
Gabby Street was important because, for one thing, they organized the Gabby Street League for baseball for young men 12 to 16, which preceded Little League. Little League came later.
Gabby Street managed the Joplin Miners and captivated ears as a sports broadcaster.
They named a street after Gabby Street Boulevard, but then sometime later on, the people didn't seem to know who he was, and they changed the name of the street back to 26th Street.
Gabby Street Boulevard is now known as West 26th Street in Joplin. However, Joplin natives like Irwin believe that the street name should reflect Joplin history.
When they had Gabby Street Day, the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce said, Gabby Street's the greatest thing to happen to this city in the past 50 years. At the time, they were very proud of him, and I think we should think about him a little bit more.
Irwin believes Joplin is slowly forgetting Gabby Street's legacy. Presentations like this keeps history alive.
And hoping that the City Council might restore the name Gabby Street Boulevard to 26th Street. I think Gabby Street Boulevard sounds so much more fun than 26th Street, which is boring to me.
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Joplin's 150th birthday celebration is on Thursday at City Hall. With severe weather season approaching, some schools have taken proactive steps to ensure the safety of their students, faculty, and staff. Northern Eastern Oklahoma A&M College officials have implemented a comprehensive emergency management plan that includes regular communication with students and staff about severe weather threats. The school also conducts drills to ensure everyone knows what to do in the event of an emergency.
In the event of any weather watches that come about, our officers will begin to monitor the weather more closely on an hourly basis and watch for any updates in the warnings. And they'll also ensure that the shelter areas are accessible to students and employees at that time.
One way you can always stay informed of the weather by downloading the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Missouri Southern and Crowder College team up to make it easier for international students to continue their higher education. The agreement allows those students to continue their education at MSSU at a discounted rate after graduating from Crowder College. Officials say it's all about creating a smooth transition.
So the students, by being able to complete the associate's degree with us, will have that step ahead and maybe reduce some of the financial burden completing that bachelor's degree.
Under the agreement, international students will pay Missouri Southern's out-of-state tuition rate rather than the international rate. The Spivak Center for the Arts wants to give the 4 states a creative outlet during spring break. They're hosting an event to craft comics and manga. It'll cover the basics of comic and manga creation, including designing fun characters, developing worlds, and creating narrative conflict. The goal is to help people build toward creating their own original stories, no matter the genre.
There are comics for like every genre, so if there's any genre you're interested in exploring comics or manga in that style, I would really recommend it just to like really broaden your horizons.
And yesterday, folks created 2 individual characters and a setting. This is for anyone ages 12 to 17 and goes until Thursday. It's $50 to join. This morning, we're discussing movies in 2023.
That's right. And Assassin's Quest for Freedom and Peace continues in John Wick Chapter 4. The film once again reunites Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne.
However, that's just one of the films coming out this year. There's a lot coming out to be excited about if you're a Marvel fan. We've got Guardians of Galaxy Volume 3 in May, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse coming out in June, and The Marvels coming out in July. If you're a Disney fan, The Little Mermaid comes to theaters in May.
Which brings us to our question this morning. What movie are you most looking forward to in 2023? And let's see, I think we have the poll results there.
Looks like it's tied between Guardians of the Galaxy and Other, which may include that John Wick movie.
Or maybe one we didn't have listed at all.
There you go.
All right, let's take a look at, well, we have lots of news and weather to come ahead, right?
That's right.
We are looking at showers on radar, and we're also going to be taking a look at the forecast too.
That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, will they or won't they? Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell announces today whether the Fed plans to raise rates one more time.
Plus, you're looking at some wet streets out there for your Wednesday, and I'll let you know how much rain we can expect on Thursday when we come back.
And Consumer Watch this morning, Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw is back in the hot seat today on Capitol Hill to discuss the aftermath of that toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. According to prepared testimony obtained by CBS News, Shaw will give updated figures on the cleanup and push for stronger rail safety measures. Last week, Ohio's Attorney General announced it's suing Norfolk Southern in federal court to force it to pay for groundwater and soil monitoring for years to come, as well as to cover economic losses in East Palestine and surrounding areas. It's been more than a week since federal regulators took over 2 failed U.S. banks. Yesterday, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the federal government is ready to take similar measures should other smaller U.S. banks suffer the same circumstances. Yellen's remarks were made before a gathering of the American Bankers Association. And Foot Locker is planning to close 400 stores over the next 3 years, but the sneaker chain will open new concept stores aimed at winning over younger shoppers. Foot Locker executive told investors the stores it will shutter only account for about 10% of the company's sales. Foot Locker will also close 125 of its underperforming Champs sports stores this year. The Federal Reserve Chair will address the media for the first time since the U.S. banking crisis erupted earlier this month. He'll also announce what they plan to do with interest rates. John Lawrence reports.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell will be front and center Wednesday afternoon with his decision of whether another U.S. rate hike is on the way.
I think a quarter point's fine. Me personally, I think the Fed should just go ahead and go to 50 basis points.
The Fed has raised rates 8 times since March 2022. The most recent increase was in February when they went up a quarter point. Some analysts say the collapse of 2 U.S. banks this month could cause the Fed to hold rates steady and give the U.S. economy some breathing room.
Treasury has seen deposit flows stabilize, which is incredibly important in regional and also small banks. In some cases, mostly reverse.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, speaking at the American Bankers Association on Tuesday, said the U.S. banking system remains sound. She also added,
"It's essential that Congress raise the debt ceiling and that they do it promptly in order not to inflict a truly catastrophic wound on our economy and financial system."
But critics of the White House say that won't produce any solutions.
Government spent too much and created inflation. So should I ignore it? Should we do exactly what the president's saying and just lift the debt ceiling and create more inflation and more banking problems?
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, economists say the Fed's repeated rate hikes are an attempt to curb inflation back down to the central bank's goal of around 2%. However, recent economic data still shows strength in the labor market and in consumer spending. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Sam with another look at your forecast.
All right, we have a few showers on radar up towards the north, moving away from us, as you can see in the motion over the last few hours. We also have a few sprinkles down near Grove, moving over into western McDonald County, but that's about it. We're going to be seeing cloudy skies most of today. Here's a closer in view of those showers near Warrensburg, down towards Warsaw, moving over towards Sedalia, Tipton, and eventually over towards Columbia. As I mentioned, we're going to see temperatures in the 70s with cloudy skies today. By 12 o'clock lunchtime, 68 degrees, and then 2 o'clock, 71 degrees, and then 4 p.m., 72 degrees. And looking at the rain chances, they're going to be low for today, but as we go through time, we're going to start to see some showers moving back into our area on Thursday afternoon and evening, dramatically increasing. And of course, that means we could have quite a bit of rain Thursday night into Friday. All right, we did it. We made it to Hump Day, and that sounds like the perfect reason to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. But before we do, let's see what's happening on CBS this morning.
Hello to you, I'm Gail King. Coming right up on CBS Mornings, our Facing Fertility series continues with a very candid conversation on the M word, menopause. We're talking with Drew Barrymore about our experiences and some of the biggest misconceptions. There are a lot of those. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
All right, we have birthdays this morning. We start off with Reed Johnson, 8 years old in Fort Scott, Kansas. Happy birthday, Reed.
All right, Jesse Scott is turning 11 this year. Jesse is in Quapaw, Oklahoma.
And Olivia Harris down in Minden Mines, Missouri turns 12 today. Happy birthday, Olivia.
All right, and Sydney Schneikert celebrating birthday number 18 this year. Sydney is in Altamont with love from Dad, Mom, and Stephen.
Austin Trout turns 26 years old in Minden Mines. Love from Mom and all the family.
All right, and in Joplin, Ashley Martinez celebrating birthday number 36 this year. Looking great there, Ashley.
Amanda Whitehead turning 40 years old in Joplin, Missouri. Love Mom, Papa, and all of the family. Happy birthday, Amanda.
All right, and Lucille Goltra celebrating birthday number 96 this year. Hope it's a big one for you up in Fort Scott. Happy birthday from your kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, and great-great-grandkids.
Amy Gray in Columbus, Kansas celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Amy.
And out in Parsons, Ashley Kroger. Happy birthday from Mommy Love Zaley.
And let's not forget Cindy Patton, who's also celebrating a birthday today. So happy birthday to all of those folks. And don't forget, you can be a part of the birthday club.
And you can send your birthdays to this email. It's really easy. Birthdays with an S at KOAMnewsnow.com. Note the deadline there. Get them in by 3 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 1 on Friday.
And to be a part of the birthday club, you can go to our website and you can sign up there. You can get special deals from local businesses. So go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club, and be sure to do it today. All right, let's take a look outside right now in Seneca, Missouri. You can see mostly cloudy skies and the pavement is wet. That's not because of the rainfall, but because it's so moist out there with dew points in the 60s and temperatures in the 60s. A lot of wet ground out there this morning. We do have a few showers on radar, but they're way up to the north and east of us, moving over towards Columbia. You can see them moving out of our area near Windsor right now with a few lightning bolts. We also had a few showers earlier down in southern Ottawa County, moving over into western McDonald County, but those have now dissipated just a little bit. Now our attention is going to be turning back towards the west as a big storm system moving into San Francisco right now. That's going to move our direction, and it's going to tap into quite a bit of moisture that is feeding up from the south. And when those two elements combine, we're expecting quite a bit of rain to develop across our area tomorrow evening into early Friday morning. Temperatures right now are in the 60s, so it's very mild out there. 54 in Stockton, one of the coolest readings. 63 in Welch and Nowata. 62 in Yates Center, Chanute, Neodesha, and Sedan. 61 in Pittsburgh. Dew points are very high, so lots of moisture in the air, generally in the upper 50s to around 60 degrees. And right now in Joplin, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies with a temperature of 61. South wind at 17, dew points 58, humidity is pretty high at 90%. In Pittsburgh, you see the flag flying there, and we're looking at a temperature of 61 as well. South wind at 15, and of course the dew point is 60, so we have a pretty high humidity right now as well. Now, the severe weather threat on Thursday is primarily going to be from about Tulsa to Oklahoma City, southern Oklahoma, down all the way into the Big Bend area of Texas. Here in our area, we're going to be more concerned about the heavy rain threat, perhaps producing some flash flooding. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that for you. Rain chances are going to be low today, but they're going to dramatically increase as we go through the day tomorrow to basically about 100% by the time we get into tomorrow evening. Highs this afternoon are going to be in the mid-70s out to the west, 79 in Sedan. How about that? 74 in Fort Scott, 70 in Pittsburgh, 70 a pretty popular number. Then as we go through time, we're going to be watching a cold front drop down from the north. That's going to increase the chances of rain as we go through the day tomorrow, with temperatures in the 60s tomorrow. And then as we go into Thursday night and Friday morning, that's when the heaviest rain will be moving across our area with lows in the 40s. And then on Friday, we're going to see temperatures in the 50s with the rain starting to move away from us. And then as we move into Saturday morning, cooler temperatures in the 30s in the morning. Rainfall amounts are going to be quite generous, especially along I-44 where several inches of rain could occur. So of course we're going to keep an eye on the flooding concerns. As a result, we have an alert day for Thursday and Friday, drier on Saturday with more rain on Sunday, and then drier on Monday and Tuesday as well, with the chance of showers back in our forecast on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we're definitely heading into a more of a spring-like pattern. And of course, it's always helpful to have the KOAM app on your phone to keep up to date on all the latest changes in the forecast. We'll have more news and weather when we come back. Poisonings are the leading cause of unintentional death in America. Coming up when we come back, we're going to be going over to Fox 14. We've got some advice for you from experts on how you can keep you and your youngest loved ones safe from poisonings in your household. It's National Poison Prevention Week, and we've got all the details when we come back.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Early Tuesday morning crash in Cedar County, Missouri takes the life of a Quincy, Missouri man. Authorities say an 1986 Ford F-150 traveling on US 54 3 miles east of Cedar Springs drove off the right side of the roadway, struck a fence and tree, and then overturned. The driver, Clay Wheeler of Quincy, was ejected from the vehicle and was pronounced deceased at the scene. Next of kin have been notified. Reports of a crash at US 60 and Missouri 59 came in around 2 p.m. Monday. Neosho Fire Department, Newton County Ambulance, Newton County Sheriff's deputies, and Neosho Police responded to the crash scene. And according to authorities, Newton County Sheriff's deputy was responding to a call and collided in the intersection with a pickup truck. The drivers of both vehicles were both transported to the hospital. Missouri Senate approves initial legislation that would temporarily prohibit gender-affirming treatments for minors and restrict transgender participation in sports. The Republican-led Senate advanced the bills on Tuesday after an all-night session. Doctors could lose their licenses and schools would lose state funding if they do not comply. And the Environmental Protection Agency is in Jasper County to give an update on cleanup projects. The EPA has been working to clean up mine waste for the past 30 years. This led to much of Jasper County being part of a Superfund cleanup site. Officials say so far they've cleaned up around 24 million cubic yards of mine waste and supplied 500 homes with new drinking water. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, and here's a look at the 7-day forecast. Cloudy today, a high of 73. Then the heavy rain moves in tomorrow night into Friday morning. So we've issued alert dates for that. And then on Saturday, a little bit of a break with a high of 61, but more rain comes back in on Sunday and then dry for Monday and Tuesday. But yet, here comes another system with more showers on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So a little bit of a wet pattern, but of course, it is springtime here in the 4 states, and that's what you can expect this time of year.
That's right. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making a simple shakshuka in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. It's a simple recipe, I
was going to say, what is that?
Not really. It's a North African recipe.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It's part of International Food Week.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, well, your morning news continues with KOAM with CBS Mornings. There's a new scam around relating to cryptocurrency ATMs that have been popping up across the country. And next on CBS Mornings, Jerica Duncan meets a man who's lost tens of thousands of dollars.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, we've got Jasmine Kyle from the SEK Humane Society in studio to tell us about an upcoming free vaccine clinic for your furry friends.
Plus, we've got a different and delightful take on a spring break story from a 5th grade journalist. You don't want to miss that.
All right.
But that's what we'll wrap it up now. How about that?
Okay.
We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.